Top of the morning to you, since we've just read Swift. Had several people writing and then some comments to me asking me to clarify what I mean by a thesis statement, or how to write a good thesis statement, or what a thesis statement might look like, or what we might do for a thesis statement. I'm going to try to make this pretty quick, 5 minutes-ish, so don't want to bore anyone to death. But one of the issues that we have is some uh, thesis statements that could use work. This thesis statement, considering that AP is providing us with your first point or no point, if you have it, if it's a defendable thesis statement, and then in the commentary and evidence and commentary uh, section, row B on the rubric, they're asking you to make sure that everything you're doing there is connecting to your thesis statement. If that's not strong, you're going to struggle in the writing of your essay. So on the screen here, you see 3 thesis statements right here. So, and I have these 3. I wrote to put these 3 together just for examples. Our thesis statement, your thesis statement, should be the backbone and the framework for your essay. It is allowing your reader to know what it is you're going to be discussing. You should not jump into your paper just assuming they know what you're going to be talking about. You should, in some way, shape, or form, incorporate some of the language of the prompt into your thesis. So, for example, with the Swift, satire might be in there, rhetorical devices, voice, satirical voice. Those are words you might be utilizing in your thesis statement. So, for example, for these examples, my paper will be on this, that, and the other. My paper on satirical or Swift's satirical voice will be on this, that, and the other. And that's kind of, this is like the beginnings of your learnings of what a thesis statement were. So back in FCAT or FSA, you were reading about, or you were writing about these things. You had a list. My paper will be on this, that, and the other. Whatever this, that, and the other are is irrelevant. I'm talking format. We've moved to where, rather than having this list, now, am I going to see, are the readers going to see lists like this? Absolutely. Do people teach this still? Absolutely. What I'm suggesting, if we look at the row C on your rubric, they're talking about sophistication. This is not a sophisticated way of creating a thesis statement. More sophisticated would be, given that this is an important aspect of the topic, what the paper would be on, that is clearly a player in such an important issue, allowing the other to really address the nuances of such intricacies. Okay. This is all nonsense in a way, but it's not. We talked at the beginning of the year, and I've mentioned throughout the year, the notion of genre. Genre is a type. So in types of writing, there are things that are expected. In this particular type of writing, timed, academic, AP, AP Lang, essay, there are some expectations. For a thesis statement, a requirement really, but the way that we put things together is expected. You have a timed situation coming up. Is this formulaic? Yeah, sure. I can take this idea and take it into my essay. When I find my 3 points, I can plug and play. I can find something that's important, something that builds onto it, and something here, and I can plug and play that in a timed essay, timed space. If you look at genre writing, if you look at criteria for academic journals, they have formulas that you have to fit before they'll publish your work. If you don't fit their organization necessarily, or the way that you do your research, or the way that your research is stated, or where your research is stated, or what, they won't let you in. So we can't really gripe about formulaic type writing when, as you move forward in your writing, there are formulas. When I did my thesis statement, when I did my thesis for my master's program, like, I had to fit everything I did into their formula. So I'm not going to worry or stress about giving you a formula or a pattern to use for this particular genre. So with this second example here, that's something that you could do. It's not necessarily a list, It is kind of, it has these three things in order, but it's not listy. This is very listy. The last one, the third one, many of you in the Swift essay were writing about two topics. That's perfectly fine. You do not have to have three, and that's why I have this last one. This matters deeply in the writer's purpose, but would not be as impactful if it were not for that. So now I'm taking this and that I began my paper will be on this, that, and the other, and I've taken out the other because I don't have time to deal with that. So I'm just going to write about this and that. This matters deeply. Exaggeration matters deeply in Swift's purpose of being satirical, but would not be as impactful if it were not for his use of made up and actual lists. So that would be this and that. And there's my thesis statement. So I'm going to have a paragraph on how he exaggerates, and I'm going to have a paragraph on how he uses possibly actual and possibly made up lists. And in doing that, I am serving my purpose as creating a thesis statement for my reader, and I also give myself something to focus on. So, a thesis statement, a point of focus, what your paper will be about. Everything in your paper needs to go back to that. If you look at row B, they're asking that your support and your evidence and the things that you write are going back and connecting to your thesis in the beginning, what your thesis is. So if you don't have a strong thesis there, then nothing else matters, and you will lose points. You could lose points there as well. So, in short, in sum, in conclusion, don't like in conclusion, but these are three examples of what a thesis statement might look like. It doesn't have to be fancy. And by the way, in a timed essay in this particular space where you only have 45 minutes to write in the end, if your introduction is just this, I'm down with that. If your introduction is a sentence before this and this, two sentences, I'm down with that. And then you put the rest of your effort into your the body of your essay, and the conclusion can be just as truncated, just as short. We're looking for how well you can write about what the writer is writing. Okay, so that's this covers row A, the thesis statement. Hope this helps clarify for you. If it doesn't and you have questions about it, don't hesitate to contact me. I'll be happy to answer your emails or your commentary as you're going forward there. And I'm hoping the comments on your Swift essays are helping you, and those I should have those finished up for all the classes by this evening. This is Tuesday. Take care and happy writing.